those years, I'm trying to see uh, what were you actually targeted that you were going to get out of that?
I wanted to actually, I had an affinity for numbers. I had an affinity for science, and I love to write. And so those were really just the three areas that I felt I would go into, that I would go into doing something, with the sciences, with land, with, communications and with finance. And that's really where I tracked into. As far as education, I came out as valedictorian. I served on several, I was, class presidents, class treasurer. That was actually my first position, was class treasurer. And then I moved from there. I was vice president, then I'm president of the class. So, and then I became over our Senate consul. I became president over that and served with our school board as a student advisor from the school, to our actual school board for the township. So those are, I mean, it basically your tracks are, this is where you're going. You set your mindset as to something that you want to do and where you want to go, and you go for it. And that's exactly what I did then. And when I came out at 18, when I came out of high school at 18, going to college, I pretty much did the same thing. I went to work at a bank, and I worked in the $1 million banking division at American National Bank, and moved from Covert, Michigan to Chicago, Illinois, and went right directly into banking. And I'm really today, this is exactly what I'm doing. I've worked in, other industries, other fields. I've worked in telecommunications. I was a land trust officer. So I have worked in other areas, but my primary focus, my primary area my love has always been finance.
That's great. That's lovely. And we're going to spend some time in financing just now. And of course, later we are also going to look at some other area relating to area that you are working on, whether in leadership or setting goals and all of that. So you like finance in a particular way. Uh, Tell me something about what do you really like about financing? What is your love for it? There are some people who like art because they like to have it. There are other who like to design it. There are other who just like because there are different combinations in it. So my question is, what is fascinating you about finance?
What fascinates me about finance is really the reason I even wanted to stay in this field, wanted to kind of be married to this field. And that was because it touches a person's lives from the time they're born until the time they die. There's no area or aspect of your life that does not touch it, that finances do not touch. And finances it's not, what I love about it is it's not just one thing, it's many things. And it's not just about money. It is also about the mind. It's about the mindset. And it helps to help you to govern yourself accordingly, so that you begin to realize you don't allow finances to use you, you use finance. That's a whole lesson and learning system in and of itself. And so therefore, it's everything that you are, it's all around you. And then all at the same time, there's financing in air, there's financing in water, in those types of systems. You have to understand that it is beyond money. And that's what I love about it.
All right. Now, for those who do not understand yet the basis of finance, why I'm asking the question is that within the diaspora community, the question of finance is something that come out again and again, and it's very important. And I like also that when you were referring to it, that it's not only about the question of money; it has to do also with mindset. Now, for some individual who do not have the basic idea, what do you think they should know to begin to understand how finance even work?
Okay. In the initial understanding, if you understand the body, let's take it from a very simplistic standpoint, the body. We breathe in air, and you take in, although you may take in a very, very deep breath of air, your body then regulates how much actually goes in through your throat, goes into your lungs, and then goes and oxygenates your body. So for that, that is like you're taking in that breath. The same thing is with finances. There's, how you take it in your body, then there's the regulation, how you use it, and then how it's then used throughout your life and throughout all the things you have to do with it. You can have someone who has a few dollars, small finances, and someone who has multiple billions of dollars, and they will live exactly the same. And that is because of this. They're still a human being on this planet. So no matter how much money they have, their aspirations are still the same. You will hear them say the same exact thing. They want peace in life. They want to be able to raise their children. They want to be able to live in a nice place. They want to have fresh drinking water. They want to have good air to breathe. They want to have rest. And so therefore, it doesn't matter how much they have. What matters is that they exist, and they exist well. That's when we begin to understand we don't live, when the term for Christians, for across any religions, it's all said the same. Man does not live by bread alone. You simply, you don't. We exist as humans, one together with the other. So we have to sometimes what we have to do is we have to stop running and chasing behind how much money I'm going to have, how much money I'm going to get. You have more money than I do. This country has more than I do. And really look at the natural resources, because there are many countries that are steep, such as the African continent itself, that is the only continent on the face of this earth that is totally and 100% self-sufficient, meaning that continent does not have to import anything, not one thing. Those 54 countries have everything. There are other countries around the world, they barely can have enough water. They barely can sustain themselves with food. They can't reproduce it. They don't have it. So they have to import and export from other countries. That's the only one. So that is by far, that is the richest country on the face of this earth.
You see, you are touching area that is very interesting and also very important to many people in our demography, which is Africa, and also our the demand, artificial demand that have been created for Africans now and the African countries. We import food, we import dress, we import textile, we import the raw material to produce food, we import everything, electronics, we import everything. So, which is a complete opposite of the images actually that you were saying just now. So I want you to say something there. I don't know how far you can go, be political or be non-political, but the reality on ground is that this is a continent, like you correctly said, that should have been able to depend on itself. But the picture we have on ground today is a complete opposite of that. Do you think there can be any explanation to that?
Yes, that's called self-sufficiency, believing in yourself. That's when you turn when you limit what you tolerate. The mindset of Africa, the continent, has to limit what it tolerates. And by that, what I am saying is this: you have to limit the outside influence telling you what you need.